This is the all-new Volkswagen Passat estate. It's the 1.5 TSI plug-in hybrid, and for the first time ever, we're getting that plug-in hybrid. And this will deliver up to 800 kilometers in terms of range. That is a lot. This is the elegance version. There's also the R-Line version, there's the business line, and also a basic trim level as well. But in terms of powertrains, we have the ETSI, the plug-in hybrid. We have 2 petrol engines, so 2 TSI turbocharged engines, and 3 diesel engines available as well. But this one that we're going to concentrate on this video is this plug-in hybrid version. In terms of the design, it's still very much sharper. It's sculptured. The bonnet's lower in the middle as well. We get this new matrix LED lights in front, is the IQ light, and this light bar that goes across the front as well, just making it look very elegant and snazzy as well. I like the sculptured look, it's really good. It's slightly wider as well, and this is longer, it's 50 millimeters longer in terms of the wheelbase, which means bigger or longer legroom when you sit inside of the car. But it looks really cool. It's not that higher up as well, it's kind of, see me next to it, it's kind of low to the ground, but it makes it look very smart. And if you're going to be driving this for business trips and stuff like that, this is very much so designed to look very sharp on the road. Over on the side on this one, we have a set of 18-inch alloys, Bridgestone tires, and on the side, like I said, this is a plug-in hybrid. It has a 19.7 kilowatt hour net battery, which can be charged up with up to 50 kilowatts, which is pretty cool actually. So it's fast enough to charge this up very quickly if you need to, a fast charging point. And then we look on the side, we get this nice dynamic line going all the way to the back, just giving it that symmetric look, a little way of making it look sporty towards the back as well, kind of goes in over there. We have roof rails, this has got a panoramic sunroof on there as well. And like I said, this is 50 millimeters longer in terms of wheelbase, which makes for better legroom when you get in the back. Again, making for that practicality for anyone who's going to be driving this for a long period of time. Over on the back, the design language continues. We have this light bar that goes all across the back, again, making it very unique on the road. So when you see this from distance, you can probably guess what car it is. By the way, my dad used to have a Passat when I was growing up, and it's always kind of fun to guess what car's what when you see them on the road in the distance. So when you see this light bar as a kid in the distance, you're able to say, okay, I know what car that is, and that kind of stuff. So you can play that sort of game when you see this car on the road. Anyway, I digress. We have the Passat writing on there, eHybrid over there as well. So IQ lights on the back, nice and bright, and it just looks really cool. I think if you're someone who commutes a lot as a business person or even a family person, then this will be actually a really cool car to have. Let's check the boot space as well, because this is also slightly bigger. So big opening boot space here. We've got plenty of space to put stuff in there, and I think you can even open this up and there's like tiny bit of space in there to store random things like cables or whatever. You can do that as well. There's buttons there, or flaps, to open to drop the back seats all the way down to get more space in there. I think this is around 690 liters of boot space, and then when you drop the seats, it goes up to like 1,990 or something like that. But you've got hooks there for your shopping bags to keep them nice and secure. But I think the main thing here is we have big opening to easily get in and out of the boot with your shopping bags and luggages and stuff. And it's just a big boot space here to store as much as you want. So that's really cool. Let's have a look at the inside as well. This is very comfortable at the back, so that's a bonus point. It's 50 millimeters longer on the wheelbase, like I said already, meaning loads of room here in the back. So as you can see, I've got plenty of knee room there, plenty of space for my feet. I can stretch a little bit if I need to stretch as well. We've got the window blinds as well to block out the sunblock, and then Harman-Kardon sound system. Nice material, this sort of Alcantara looking finishing here as well, nice and soft to sit on. We have 2 USB-C ports there, got climate control for the back passengers as well. And with the sunroof added as well, it just gives you a sense of extra space in the back, so that's a bonus to have. So, but I think generally it's just the fact that there's plenty of space in here. You can sit someone in the middle, but you do have this tunnel there. That means they have to have either legs on either sides, or if they were to put their legs here, they'll have really high raised up knees. So here, there's no pull tab, but we do have your armrest over here as well, and pull that over, you can have something there to read your book, a tablet there, which is pretty cool actually. I've not seen that in a while in that sense, the way that it's designed. And then you've got your cup holders there, again, further forward, so you can still rest your elbows without having to worry about digging your elbows in that hole there. So that's pretty cool. And then there's also this opening here. That means I can reach out to the back and grab my headphones in case I forget to take them with me and it's in the boot. So that's also pretty cool that they've done that. And then once you're done, you're gonna have to separate this. It's a bit stiff. and then put that back in there and you're good to go. It might be because this is still a prototype. So I said prototype, is a pre-production vehicle. So that's probably going to be smoother when it's fully launched. So that's nothing to worry about too tough there. But yeah, plenty of pockets in the back as well. 2 at the top to store passports or whatever. And then more at the bottom as well to store more stuff. But this lives to his true design language, which is all about space in here and practicality. Over in the front, the elegance is elegant. Don't judge my... Anyway, it's nice and premium in here as well. Some sort of leather finishing. The stitching is nice. You got this ambient lighting inside of the car with Volkswagen Passat sort of design on there as well. I kind of like that. It's really cool. And they've got all the buttons on the steering as well to control all the things that you need to do while you're driving. Things like your cruise control active cruise control settings, media controls. They're all there. See, Ida is always trying to butt in my conversation. And then in front of us, we have this big 15-inch driver focus screen, and then another 12-inch instrument cluster there, which is dynamic, and you can do different things on there, which we'll talk about as well. We have a new windscreen head-up display as well, which is nice and bright and sharp. Contains all the information that you might want to see whilst you're on the road, like your speed and all the road signs and stuff like that. And over here, we have 2 USB-C ports, and on the front, they're faster. So we have 4 to 5 watts. You've got wireless charging mats as well there if you have a compatible device. We have 2 cup holders here, and then underneath here we have more space to store things, including this little tray to put maybe keys or something, and then deep hole here to store things, which is really good. We have our gear shifter right here, which then meant that we have more space here to do things, and you can cover this up as well. So if you have your phone there, you can cover that up so no one knows what's underneath it. But generally, great material used all around it. Again, I love the sitting position. It's nice and comfortable. Panoramic sunroof comes all the way to the front. So again, the driver and the front passenger also takes advantage of that extra lighting that comes inside of the car. But let's get into more details on the instrument cluster and the infotainment system. So more detail about this big 15-inch display. We have a slider there, which is back illuminated. At one point, I'm going to have to stop saying this about Volkswagen because it's no longer a new thing really, but it's good to have that there. And the screen is pretty much responsive, and you can modify what you see on the screen as well, up to you. You have Apple CarPlay wirelessly, Android Auto as well, and climate control is always going to be at the bottom there if you want to control things, including like the heated seats and stuff like that. And that button is always going to be your home button if you want to go back to the home screen. Up top are your information that you need to see, so things like the weather outside, if there's a phone charging on the Qi wireless charging area, messages, and then here we have some options as well. So for example, if we select mode, we have eco mode, comfort, sport, and individual. One thing to talk about here as well is we have hybrid mode. So the car will always start in E mode every time you get in the car to start the engine, but to come out of that, you can always kick down, or you can change the mode as well. So you have hybrid mode, or if you go to sports mode, it will come out of E mode. Electric mode can go up to 100 kilometers, which is pretty cool depending on your driving style. Obviously, you can also set manually here, which means you can set hold for the battery. So that way, the battery won't go below that in terms of using the engine, combustion engine and the battery mode. So that's a good way to manage your battery so it never runs flat, for example. If we go to driving profile and we go to individual, there's also DCC here, so DCC Pro. And with that, it just means you can adjust your dynamic chassis control all the way to sport, comfort, depending on how you want to feel when you're driving. So you can change the character of the car. And then you got things like your steering, the drive, the engine sound, exterior engine sound, adaptive cruise control, air conditioning. All these settings can be controlled and set individually. Or if you can't be bothered, you can always go to sports, comfort, or eco mode. In terms of safety, we click assist, and this will give us all the options available. So we have like lane keep assist, speed warning, attention monitoring, drowsiness monitoring system, adaptive cruise control. All the safety elements are there for you to select what you prefer, and then you can tap forwards to also get extra settings for some of them depending on what's available. So for example, speed warning has like sound and all this stuff that you can modify. So that's really good. And then if we go to car here, this is like your quick settings. So for example, you can change your head-up display positioning. There's also energy recuperation, so you can change the settings for that. So you got low, automatic, and high. So if you have automatic, for example, it will take into consideration the roads that you're driving on using the mapping system that's built into here. So you set where you're going, it will adjust accordingly, including controlling how much boost, how much battery power is being used and all that stuff. So you probably want to use the built-in map if you want to take advantage of that kind of stuff. So if we go to the actual menu here, so you can have things like your settings, etc. But let's start with the sound settings. In sound settings, you can control how this is behaving, things like your bass, treble, etc. if you know what you're doing. So you can change all those things. This has got a seat massage system, so it's got an actual official name for it, but let's just call it a seat massage system. So you can change the way that actually works. So you've got so many different settings there, options there, and you can do the duration of how you want it for, because after a while it becomes annoying. And then you press start, and then you can change the intensity as well for both the passenger and also the driver. So that comes as standard on the Elegance and R-line version. So I'm not sure about the base and the business line, but that does come with this one. This also has park assist as well, so you can use the camera to see what's all around you. You got park assist information, so that way you can use that to park itself. You'll remember, like, I think 50 meters of the last place you were parked, so you can go in and out of parking spaces easily. And I think with this as well, if you connect your smartphone, you can actually use it to bring the car out of tight parking spaces without actually being in the car. You can change the background as well, so you can change it to suit your mood. So you got all these options available. But yeah, pretty much very simple, straightforward. You can change different things, and it's just packed with loads of tech ready to go. Over on the steering and instrument cluster, like I said, you have all the buttons on the steering for things like heated steering, media controls, etc. But on there as well, there's a view button, so that way you can change the view of what you can see in front of you, like so. You can see that, and then you can change individually. So for example, this area here, we can change what you can actually see there to different things, so like audio, navigation, etc. So it's entirely up to you. I usually have that on audio, so I can see what track's playing without having to look over to the infotainment system. On the left side, it will always give you your energy information, so the range for the battery, your energy recuperation options, and etc. So you can always have a look at that, and also your ADAS system, so like your lane keep and stuff like that, you can always see that there. So overall, the instrument cluster here, the digital system here works really well, looks fantastic, nice and bright and sharp, and the infotainment system works really well as well in conjunction with this for when you need it to. So overall, really nice package here for the Passat. So I guess the next question is, how does this feel to drive on the road? What are the data? What do we need to know? Well, to start with, this will give you around 350 Newton meters of torque, which isn't a lot considering this is a heavy car. People that's going to be getting this don't need anything more than that, to be honest. This is 204 PS, so 150 kilowatts. There's also a slightly higher power version, but again, you don't really need that. And I don't think we'll be getting that in the UK, I'm not completely sure, but we're definitely going to be getting this setup here in the UK, which is really good. 0 to 62 or 100 kilometers, give or take, you're looking at between 7 or 8 seconds. But again, we'll leave numbers on the screen to get to the exact figure. One of the things to also mention is this has got a really good drag coefficient. So now we're looking at 0.25. So again, they've made it more aerodynamic, so it's much better. The electric mode, which this starts off in E mode, you're looking at up to 100 kilometers, but that will depend on your driving style. You can also do kick down to take it out of electric mode. Like I said before, put it into hybrid mode, you can stick into sports mode as well. But one thing that's really cool here is when you put it into eco mode, for example, you don't get that tamed version of what you normally get in eco mode. So eco mode doesn't necessarily mean that you start to feel sluggish or anything like that. Because of the electrification and the combustion engine still doing some work together, you will get something that feels, it's still snappier, it's still very much there when it comes to the driving style and the handling, etc. Another thing to bear in mind with the E mode is it starts, like I said, in battery mode first, but if you're in a temperature of below -10 degrees, it means that it won't start with battery mode only, so that's something to bear in mind. When you go above certain speeds, I think in a region of like 140 kilometers per hour, you'd also switch away from just electric mode as well. That's another way to get out of that. Ooh, look at the tire marking on the road there. So in Nice, where we are, actually, the roads are so tiny here. So it's a bit precarious sometimes, where you have to make sure you don't hit the oncoming vehicle. And this is a wide car, so this is a good way to test visibility in that sense, because it's very easy to see where you're going, to place your car in the right positioning so you don't hit someone else or get in the ditch. But yeah, in terms of visibility, great all around the car. Comfort level is really good, but again, once you get this on the UK roads, it's going to be a totally different situation, because the roads here are different completely. So here is very smooth, so you don't really get to feel like speed bumps and, you know, those potholes and stuff like that. So I won't really delve too much into that, because it's going to be a totally different experience when you take it to places like London and potholes everywhere and all that stuff. But generally, handling feels really great. For such a big car, the handling is good in terms of chucking around corners. It's nimble, it's very agile as well. It's very comfortable. It just fills you with confidence to drive it around all these bends here and just, you know, just place it. There's minimal body roll as well, which is quite impressive that they've been able to achieve that in such a big car. Talking about how practical this is though, I think it's not just in the sense of the space that you get inside of the car, it's also the range as well. You're looking at up to 800 kilometers, which is ridiculous, right? The way they've developed the car just means the battery, because you get that 19.7 kilowatt hour battery net in here that can do 100 kilometers on its own in battery mode. And then you can combine that with a combustion engine. That's loads of range there to get you across the country without worrying about topping up anytime as well. And then you got all those features in there, like being able to have battery hold to make sure that doesn't run flat as well. So when you get back into the city, you can still have enough battery left to drive, you know, just on battery mode alone. So it's pretty impressive, I'd say. It's in the true Passat fashion. When you hear the name Passat, this is exactly what that is. And it delivers in all those areas completely. One thing that's pretty cool with the combination of plug-in hybrid, you know, electrification and combustion is here we also have boost mode, because you could just be cruising along like this, you know, chilling, whatever. But when you need that extra power, you can just kick down on here. It's probably the wrong time to do it for me here because oncoming vehicles and tight roads. But if you were to be joining a motorway, for example, or you just need that extra power, you can just kick down, and then the whole thing, you get the full power of what the car's capable of. And it's just definitely more power there. And to do this, it's either kicking down, put it into sports mode, or put it into hybrid mode, and it's ready to do that extra boost. So as well as the electrification and the combustion engine, we also have DCC Pro in here. So that's the dynamic chassis control. And with that, we have that in combination with a new 2-valve shock absorber. Sorry, I look so focused on the road because the roads are tiny, and every time a car comes towards me, I'm like, what? But yeah, anyway, so we have this new 2-valve shock absorber with that DCC Pro, and all that means is the roads adapting along with the way the car reacts to comfortability and the way it handles the cornering and stuff like that. So that's a really good function to have here, because you can actually feel it in action as well. So 1 minute you're nice and sturdy around it, and then you get to a bend and it's so quick because of the 2-valve. So it reacts very quickly to what's ahead on the road as well, which is, again, very smart. So that's basically it from me for the Passat. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I think as an overall package, decent pricing, is very practical, it looks very smart and sculptural, like, you know, looking more sportier than ever. But yeah, it's pretty much still a Passat, no matter which way you look at it. And I think that's a really good thing. It's a great car in a great package. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if this is your first time here, please do subscribe, smash the like button, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.